We're Gina and Lindsay.
And this is First Wife Life.
All right, welcome back. On today's episode of First Wife Life, we sat down with Jessica, who owns her own upcycling thrift online platform that she's had a lot of success with post-divorce. And she's talked to us about deciding if you should stay or go when things are status quo and like leaving the good guy and how that could be hard too. So it was nice to hear a different perspective and hear from somebody new.
Yeah, because the divorce road isn't a one size fits all. And I think it's important for us to share other women's stories that don't look exactly like ours. And so if you have a story to tell and you want to be on the podcast and share openly and vulnerably, we would love to have you on. And you can email us at firstwifelife@gmail.com and we'll get that set up. But
and for now, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss an episode on when they drop on Fridays.
Yeah. And so let's get into it.
All right.
Okay, so today we have our first Zoom interview with Jessica, which you reached out to us over Instagram and you're like, you have a story to tell that's a little bit different than ours. And we're like, yes, we need all the different angles of divorce and what that could look like. And so we're so excited to have you here.
Thank you. I'm excited to be your first Zoom interview.
Yes. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you live? How long have you been divorced? Do you have kids? All the things.
I live in Philadelphia. I have a 9-year-old son. I have been separated since 2019, officially divorced in 2022. And my story is one that like married my high school sweetheart. Best, we were like one person for since age 12 all the way up to like 30. And it's just a little different than, I guess, the traditional story.
We were also married to our high school sweethearts.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yes, we can relate to the oneness. You said
Yeah.
in our episodes, you're like the Spice Girl song, like when two become one.
Yeah,
like, that
I was
was
like,
the vibe.
He is me, I am him. We do everything together in unison.
I have that tattoo actually on the side of my ribs because it's a number one. There's always been one person. So that's really interesting.
Oh my God. So so you were married for how many years then? You said?
2013 to 2022.
Wow, you're almost like in tandem with me. I was married for 10 years too. Married, like we got pregnant at 19 and then married at 21.
Okay. So yeah, I got pregnant. Well, you got pregnant in 2019.
When I was 19.
When you were okay.
Yes.
And she was a child bride.
Yeah, I always say I was a child bride. So Brady's almost 16.
Okay.
Yeah. So we got married when he was 2 because like that's what you do. And so you got married first and then you had your son.
Yeah. I got pregnant when I was 28, 29. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, different in that sense. And it took, I feel like my pregnancy really pushed my timeline along, but you like consciously chose your partner in a lot of ways. It sounds like.
Yeah. I mean, even when we got married, like we were 26 when we got married and our families were so disappointed on our wedding day. Like all we talked about was having puppies. Like we didn't talk about having kids. It wasn't something that we wanted, wasn't something that we thought about. And then I feel like we lived our marriage. Like we did all the traveling. We did like the career path, the traveling, the family stuff. And we got to a point where it was like, okay, now it feels like it's time to press play on like the next phase of our lives and like consciously got pregnant. So it was very like sequential, I feel like.
I was going to say, and you're different because you made the choice to leave a good guy. And there wasn't a single event. And so this is new for us because our First Wives Club is just full of
drama
and trauma
and things, non-negotiables that you can't stay in a marriage. So we're really curious and excited to hear more about kind of how you came to that decision. How long did it take you? Like, what sort of things were you exploring that even implanted that question in your head? Like, should I stay or should I go?
Yeah, I think leaving a good leaving a good guy is hard because you don't really have that north star of like, here's this concrete evidence that is textbook. I know this is wrong. I know this is what I should do. It's like it's more of a misalignment thing, and there's a lot of like guilt and self-doubt that goes along with that. But I think that like we were young when we got married and we had been together for so long, it kind of felt like we exhausted like that whole phase of our life together. And it was just one of those like slow, slow burns of separation over years. And I felt like we were just getting further and further apart rather than closer and closer together. So like the decision was hard, and I think it's all hard. But not having that like, oh, there was all these bad things that I like check the box and know I'm doing the right thing, like a difficult decision to make.
Did you bring it up first? Like, was he receptive? Or like, how did the conversation even come up?
Yeah, it was so I'm like a very chaotic ADD type A like I overcommit to things. I'm like all over the place, and he's very steady and passive and calm and grounded. And I think like over time my personality probably just like eroded him. Uh, and I could see that that was happening. So like the day that I actually left, we had a house like in the woods, and we had I like woke up in the morning and my son was 2, and we had bats in the attic. There was a snake in the basement, and there was a squirrel in my bathroom cabinet. And I like went to tell him, and he looked and he was like, "Okay." He's putting his shoes on and he's like, "I'm gonna go to work now." And I was like, "There are like rodents in the house right now." Like, and I just like packed up my stuff and took my kid to a hotel, and I never went back after that. But like that moment we can laugh about now because it was like such our two personalities just like colliding. Like, I wanted to call a U-Haul that day and never go back to the house. And he just was like, okay, like I'm just gonna go to work and continue on my like passive journey of how I handle conflict. And that was kind of like the day that I left. And then he never like called or chased or questioned or like to find me. And I just kind of took that as like one, like the biggest sign of rejection, but also two, like just that passion and that connection isn't there to keep this running long term. So
Did you want to live in the house in the woods, or was that already like a misalignment for you?
yeah. I mean, I think I wanted it, but what it took was like someone who was going to like handle all the things. Like when we found snakes in the basement, I like called to figure out what to do about that, and we had to put like coyote urine around the foundation of the house. Like I'm not gonna do that. I'd rather be in a penthouse in the city. Like it was not something, and I would have lived that life if I was married to someone that could handle those things. But like we both had full-time jobs and like a small toddler, and it just wasn't something he could take on from a capacity standpoint. So like the house kind of fell by the wayside as the marriage fell by the wayside, and like it just equally fell apart all at the same time.
Wow. Go ahead.
How soon into the marriage did you have your son?
4 years.
Okay. So do you think having him change the dynamic of your partnership? Like, was it less often fun and traveling and planning things and more like this, like home life doesn't really light you guys up? Like, that dynamic shift?
Yeah, I think about that a lot. I think like before I had my son, I never would have like my mom has been divorced twice, my dad has been divorced 3 times. I think one of the reasons I married my high school sweetheart is because I was like, I'm not going to follow this path. Like there's so much divorce in my family. I can outsmart it. I can outdo it. And like found a great person. And I never once ever questioned like our relationship not working. And then I think after I had my son, it like brought all of our differences to the surface. Like when you're in like the the thick of parenting, and we just are further apart so quickly.
Is your sorry, you have your own business now. Did you have the same career path when you were married, or did that come about post divorce? Like, what can you tell us kind of how your life changed?
Yeah, I think that was part of it too. When we got married, I was very lost from a career standpoint. And I think once I found my career, it came with a lot of confidence, and I didn't have that confidence prior to having my career. I was always like super envious of his job and like the money that he made and the opportunity that he had, and I hadn't. Like I worked so hard. I got my master's degree and tried all these different things and just never found my way. And then right after I had my son, I was like, okay, I'm making the decision. I do not want to work for anyone ever again. Like, here's my time to like really change my life. And I started to find my way and find my confidence. And that was all part of it too. Like, I
So can
think
you
I
tell us
saw it
about
differently.
the business that you created?
Yeah, so we are a micro wholesale like sourcing engine for resellers and thrift stores. So we partner with brands like, all the major athleisure brands, Rent the Runway, Tucker Nuck, Polara, Spiritual Gangster. We process their damages and returns, we curate it, and then we sell it and like circulate it through the thrift store economy in the US. And we grew very quickly over the last like 6 years. So my business started in 2019, around the same year that I like, ultimately got separated. So it's just like a new life altogether.
Yeah. Do you find that like when you're walking in alignment, all the doors just like open up to you and everything is just like flowing in at a rapid speed that wouldn't have been available to you if you were like in that relationship that just ultimately felt like a betrayal on some level to your alignment?
Yeah, and it's like hard because I always viewed in my marriage, he was always super supportive. Like if I wanted to become an astronaut, he was like, "Okay, go do it." But I think n- because like we weren't in alignment, there was still some kind of thing that was like holding me back. So once I like let go of that, I think a lot more fell into place. And yeah, like, it's just there was a lot too, I think, through like kind of manifestation, just like having my head down and set onto like I am gonna find my own like make my own path for myself no matter what it takes. And then it's just happened.
That's so exciting. Good for you, girl. I
I know.
mean, I I think more women need expanders for like dreaming a bigger life, for themselves. Like when we were kids, we were just raised to want the dream of like the family and we played with our Barbies and our dolls and it's like that was all we were, at least for me, that was like the the holy grail, right? Was just like the family life. And so for in my case, I was white knuckling the story that I thought my life should look like at the cost of my own soul because I was misaligned with the path I was on with my ex-husband. And there was just never like a peace, right? Like I always felt like there was something more. I just wasn't at rest. And now I wake up every day and life isn't perfect, but there's like this exhale to my days that wasn't even possible when you're with someone that you shouldn't be with.
Yeah.
So, and then you're calling all that energy back to you to then pour into your job that you love. And, you know, I don't know. It just more women need those examples. So
Yeah.
And I was going to say, what tips do you have for people that are not sure if they should stay or go and leave the good guy? Because I feel like people have this fear of like, this is safe. I have, a successful person, a provider. Maybe they're emotionally available, maybe they're not. You have the house, you have like the whole thing. What if I don't find that again? Or what if I don't? Like, I feel like that comes with a lot of doubt.
Yeah. I think you have to do the work. I think you have to like invest in yourself, and whether it's therapy or life coach or like I just started EMDR. Because there's so many skeletons in the closet that we don't even know, and like our body holds on to all that stuff. And whatever is misaligned or why you're staying or questioning going or whatever, like it's if you can uncover more rocks and leaves to like really figure out what's behind all that, I think it can help really make you confident in your decision, whatever it is.
Yeah, so it's like stay curious
Yeah.
of the things that are pulling on you and like treat it like breadcrumbs with professionals like EMDR. I did EMDR for a hot second too. It was really powerful to kind of go into your these traumatic moments and like calm your body through them and like tell yourself you're safe. Like it heals your nervous system on a level that wouldn't have been possible with just talk therapy. Um, but I also think if you're not willing to face like the music of these voices that are like, nope, nope, there's something more, then you will easily settle into the safety zone where that's the priority, not like living a life that's in true alignment. Like that
Yep.
sometimes those can't coexist. Like if you know that this isn't meant for you, that's misalignment, but you just want the safety. Like you have to kind of choose because when you jump off a cliff, it's not safe at all. Like
No,
it's
for
a
sure.
complete free fall.
Well, I
Yeah.
think truth always comes out, or like you can only protect what you want for so long. And I feel like in your 20s, you're a little more scared or you don't have as much wisdom or knowledge or confidence or whatnot. And I feel like you can't hold on to that forever. Like at some point, everything comes to a head.
Yeah. I think another tip I have, and we actually use this at work, but I use it in my personal life too, is like giving yourself grace and space. Like I was the person that decided to leave, being like a female of a young toddler, leaving an amazing guy with so much guilt and like questioning from the outside world, and I just remember people coming up to me and being like, "How's Mason? Like, how's Mason dealing with all of this? Is he okay?" And I'm like, "He's fine. Like, the child will go where I go. They're resilient, but, like, do you wanna ask how I am?" Like, I it just is like I remember just trying to tell myself, like, "It's okay. As long as I'm okay, like, you will be okay. We will all be okay. Like, people get divorced. It's not the end of the world, and as long as, like, his dad and I are respectful of each other and, like, live a good co-parenting life, all will be fine."
Yeah, I
But
heard once the kids fair as well as the parents fair.
Mm.
Like if the parents are at each other's throats and they're miserable about the divorce, then that trickles down to the kids. But if you're modeling, resiliency and like everything's gonna be okay, like they look to you to be like, oh, okay, everything's gonna be okay. Mom said it's
yeah,
gonna be okay. Um, so yeah, there's just and time heals a lot, right? Like kids get used to the two homes. For 2 years, my boys like said they hated my house. They didn't want to come to my apartment for a year. Like now I would just be like jumping for joy if I could have seen this vision of like where I'm at now
mhm,
starting 3.5 years
Mhm.
ago because I didn't think it could heal as much as it did in just 3.5 years. So you need to hold on. Like people that are in the thick of it, if they think it's never going to get any better, that almost manifests it more and more of that same reality. But if you hold the vision that time will heal things, this too shall pass. I know I'm on the right path. Like you're calling in that reality much quicker than if you're just like having a pity party for yourself, which in my case, I think that's what my ex did was just like kind of kicked and screamed about it for 2 years. So that trickled down to my kids. And imagine if he would have had like an amazing attitude about it and like got on the same page of like everything's going to be fine. We're just not going to our family's going to look different than it did before.
yeah,
Who knows how far we could have gone, with healing faster.
right,
But it all works out.
I'm just, last week, my son was like, "You and dad are best friends, right?" I was like, "Who told you that?" Like, "You love dad and he's your best friend." And I was like, "Yeah, I do. But who said that?" And he was like, "You told us that." I was like, "I did tell you that." He's like,
yeah,
"So you're not married anymore, but you're best friends."
yeah,
So I'm glad they think that, but
Yeah,
He's not my best friend.
yeah, way to program them in like a good way because that's definitely not the case at all.
No, he's not my best friend, but I do wish him the best. But I'm
Well,
glad that from their lens, they think that he's my best friend. And like, I
yeah.
don't want them to know that
Yeah.
I don't like him that much.
Do you guys live far from each other? Like,
About
how
20
does
minutes, 20
co-parenting work?
minutes. And we do, we're 50-50, so it's like our schedule's like 3, 4, 4, 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a 2-2-5 and I'm obsessed with that schedule.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, I always have Monday, Tuesday. He always has Wednesday, Thursday, and then we alternate weekends.
Okay. I like
Yeah.
that.
Um, so how is your relationship with him now? Like, and how, give us like the tea on your dating life post divorce. What does that look like? Finding,
Yeah. Oh, I'll start with the tea now. I didn't realize like, I met him when I was 13, and I think I probably just took all of my baggage and, like, offloaded it onto him at a young age and didn't deal with really anything because, like, he was just my person. So, he was probably we were very codependent, and I think it was, like, this solution in my mind for all of my emotional trauma. And so, like, not only did I get divorced and have to, like, grieve that, but I feel like I've had to, like, deal with all the things that I didn't deal with right before my marriage. And so in the last 3 or 4 years, I feel like we've gone through a ton of different growth phases. Like, we've gone through kinda like the "I hate you" phase, which we never even had when we were married. We went through, like, we are no longer like, he was still my emergency contact up until, like, a year ago. Like, I just learned through therapy how much I was still leaning on him. And something else that I thought was interesting after we got divorced, like, our relationship didn't change at all, which was also an indicator to me that, like, it wasn't right because it was so platonic that the getting divorced, like, didn't really change anything. We
um,
it was just, like, I think our marriage was put together from, like, just these tactical codependent things rather than, like, an emotionally mature partnership. So that's had to evolve just from being, like, co-parents over time, and that's been interesting.
would you say that your relationship was just attachment?
Yes, I can say that now. I didn't realize that ever until recently, um, and that's something that I'm, like, still working through now, just trying to figure out how to not do that in, like, my future relationships, which is hard because attachment is really strong.
Yeah, because I think the 2 pieces to be, like, in love with someone is you feel safe with them and you're also very inspired by them. Like, you can't get enough of, like, what they're doing with their life and, you're just, like, fans of each other, and I realized that I never had that with my marriage, and I was just, like, in a trauma bond of
Mhm.
and maybe your guy was like your safe person because of your family's dynamic with so many divorces and stuff that you just like attached on
Mhm.
to that safety. And like that was the most important thing to you. But then
Yeah,
as you
so
grew, you're like, I want way more than just safety.
yeah, this is, like, mirroring a therapy session I had, but I went for, like, safety and nothing else. It was like nothing else mattered as long as I knew he wasn't going to yell, curse, scream,
Hmm.
see me, like, all those, like, bare bone basic things that you want. I had no other buckets that needed to be checked other than that. So now I'm, like, learning, you know, what else do I want in a partner, and that's been a journey for sure.
And you get to start fresh and create that.
Yeah.
It's even better in your 30s than it is when you're 13.
Mhm, mhm.
I know choosing people from this level of consciousness now is like such a gift that like we who we get to end up with forever is someone that we get to choose as this version of ourselves rather than like in our 20s or teenage years. Like, I just feel so grateful that, and I'm like, I'm not going to fuck this up because we're in the dating zone and stuff too. And I had a 2-year, really healthy, stable relationship after my marriage. And I almost fell into the trap of like choosing just for safety too, because you have to be cautious of like overcorrecting what
what you were missing, you know, in each relationship. And then after that one, I overcorrected by dating someone with kids because I wanted someone that like was familiar with kids. And I just need to like give everything enough time and space to not rush into like any sort of marriage decision because I'm not going to get it wrong. Like I'm so dead set on the person I end up with having everything that I'm looking for, not just something I was missing in the last relationship.
Yeah, it almost feels scarier now because like it feels like the stakes are higher. It's like we've learned so much. We want to make sure that we put it into practice the right way. So yeah, and you really have to trust yourself.
Are you dating?
Yes, I like met someone Bumble a couple years ago, and we were in a great relationship, and now it's kind of been like on and off for a while. So just trying to figure out what all that means.
Um, do you want to go deeper into that, or you're like,
Well, that's what I'm doing in EMDR right now, so I can check back once I
yeah,
figure all that out. Yeah.
yeah, I know it's such a when we know too much, yeah, like you said, the stakes go higher, and um, we don't want to be married 3 times, you know, like we want to find our person, and we know how painful it is to like end a marriage and change everything. So the stakes of like a second marriage and merging families and lives again just feels like so palpable of like if this were to ever fall apart, we know exactly how it would feel and how hard it would be and all that stuff. And it just feels like the dating pool isn't as viable as the for men as it is for women. Like women have their shit together and we know what we're looking for and we're not afraid to do the work to figure out what's going on with our patterns and our history. And I just think men don't do the same level of work usually.
They're
No.
supposedly getting there.
Says who?
That's who?
Their
Like,
profiles.
Cite your sources.
Their profiles that
they're
are
reading-
5 years old
They're
pictures.
reading
Like,
books about
God.
masculinity and all the things. I don't know. I hope it's true.
You know what I think there's a market for is like a training center for like women to train men on how to like be viable partners.
Like a 3-day cuckoo camp.
Yeah,
where you
we could
send them.
really corner that because we know what women are looking for, and these men are just missing the mark with like their
don't think-
personal journeys. I
You
don't
don't
know.
think they know, and they also there's a part that doesn't care. Like they're
I think
just
they
also
think-
on their own journey and set in their ways. I don't know.
I think they think we're gonna settle for the stuff that they offer us, in
Yeah.
my opinion. And we're like, no, I'd rather be alone than this.
Leave my bags at the front desk.
Yeah.
Great. Do you ever like look at your friends that are or relationships in your life that are happily married and try to figure out like, okay, what's the common denominator across people that makes it work?
I want to be in that place one day. I'm in the place of like, I see a married guy either by himself or someone. And I think like, I wonder what his problem is. I
Yeah.
wonder if he has a secret bank account and he's gambled 6 figures and she doesn't know about it. I wonder if he has a side piece. I wonder if he drinks when she's gone at work and he's working from home and he's taking naps. I wonder all those things.
Yeah.
Gina has trauma with men telling the truth.
I gathered.
It's not just because of my situation. I mean, I have witnessed it in all, like so many marriages in my family friend circle that I'm just,
I think
that's where I'm at right now. I won't.
men with like integrity is a hard thing for you to come by, I think.
Mhm.
But I'm a wedding photographer, and so I see tons of love and even like the business is so interesting to me. Like obviously I love to create art from these moments and stuff, but I love the human behavior aspect of it. Like I love studying the relationship dynamics and even the parents and like are they happy or like it all. I don't miss really any of those details. Like I just love it. And I think the common thread of really happy marriages is when the man always loves the woman more. Like that's to me the common thread. They take that leadership role of like that container of like being that protector in the 3D, and the female, like, I think we mirror what is given to us. And obviously, this is hetero relationships. I don't know about other dynamics as much, but like, whatever the woman is given, usually I think she multiplies, and if she doesn't feel like she can trust him, or if it's not the safe container, that's when I think like she spends her energy on other things, like trying to control things, or like micromanage, and because she doesn't feel safe to let all those like worries wash away.
Yeah.
And then it creates tension, and there's everything is like this domino effect, right? um
So when we talk about matching energy, for example, doesn't the guy set the pace because he's the leader and then the woman matches the energy? Is that how that works?
If he's leading.
Right? So my friend said recently she's in this ongoing situationship and she didn't like how he responded to something. And he said, I'm just matching your energy. I'm looking to you because I feel like you know about these things. Doesn't the guy set the pace and then the woman matches the energy or what?
I think that's how like healthy masculine men would behave for sure. And it's just kind of like, what are we going to tolerate, right? Like, I want a leader. If he's not leading me, then I take over, and that's not. I don't want to be in that masculine energy with him. So eventually, I'm just going to withdraw. Like,
Yeah, like that was a turn off to me. I
yeah,
was like, if a guy told me like I'm matching your, no, I'll match yours.
I think like there's certain things that they need to lead in, right? Like planning the dates. I think leading the connection with like communication, especially in the beginning, it's a turn off to me if I have to wonder if I'm a priority to him with
Mhm.
like when he's going to see me next, or text me in the morning or at night or whatever. Um, cause then I think it just starts to build like an insecure attachment. Like you have to know your attachment styles too in this work when you're dating. Like, are you more anxiously attached or avoidant, or can you build a secure attachment? And being aware of like, ooh, this connection is like veering into anxiously attached, where if I don't hear from him, I'm worried, and then I'm anxiously like pursuing him. That's a sign to me that it's not a safe foundation being built. Like,
Right.
because now I've had enough reps with this dating world where when a guy leads with the communication, leads with the planning the dates, and I know I can count on a text some point in the morning and at some point at night to kind of start and end days,
Mhm.
my nervous system is just like, oh, like I'm just riding shotgun and, you know, wondering where he's going to take me. And that's what I want in dating.
Yeah.
So we just get to decide like, are they offering what we're wanting or not? And then we hold all the power, because then we're just like, no, this isn't working for me. Like I want to pursue other connections and be done with you.
Yeah.
There's next. There's more, in line if we just look at it that way, rather than like, I hope we don't end up alone. Like that's gonna attract anything to you.
No,
Yeah, the
alone
scarcity
sounds
versus
nice.
abundance mindset or whatever that is. Scarcity
Yeah.
mindset. Yeah.
And not an attachment to the outcome, because I'm like, if I don't find what I'm looking for, I'll live on a compound with my girlfriends. Like that sounds like a great life, to be
Right.
old and witchy and, like, uh,
Everybody on the same cycle.
yeah.
Right. Right.
So then we're not coming from a place of like, I need this to survive. Because we've built such a full life, especially after divorce, where we weren't happy with our lives before. That's why we left. And so we created this beautiful life. And I'm not going to like attach to the wrong person and like downgrade, the vision.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
No, I mean we can't botch what we have now.
no,
No, it's too good.
it's too good. So I hope you figure out your dating situation with this guy, because the quality of our relationships is the quality of our life for sure.
Yeah, my therapist went, right when I was getting divorced, said something like, she's like, you know what? It's all hard. You have to choose your hard. Like being married is hard, being divorced is hard, dating is hard, being single is hard. And that stuck with me just in general, like in all life choices, it's all hard. You just have to choose which hard path you want.
Mm-hmm.
But
One of
yeah,
my
I mean,
mantras, just because it's hard doesn't mean it's wrong, too.
right.
People
Yeah.
think, and especially women that are thinking about getting divorced, like, oh, but like your situation, but he's safe. We've been together for so long. Like, just because it's the hard thing to do to rebuild your whole life and choose something that's more aligned doesn't mean it's the wrong thing. And like my parents definitely raised me in this way that like, but it's gonna hurt everyone. Like, it's too hard. Just stay where you're at. Like, and I'm like, I did not come here for a mediocre life. Like, it's all at the cost of me. I'm the one that has to live this life. You guys don't have to. I have to choose what's right for me, and I'll live on an island alone if I have to. Like,
Yeah.
so
Are you watching Love is Blind?
yes. I
The
just
episode where
tonight.
Brittany's dad was like, "We don't say divorce in this household. We've never said divorce. It's not that something we'll say." I, like, hear that a lot sometimes, I feel like on reality TV or even just, like, in my own families, which is a joke because they're all divorced. And just, like, I feel like that makes it so taboo, like, to set that precedent from the beginning, like, it's almost more I guess the reality too is like to have the mindset of like, I don't know what the outcome of this. Like if it's not working for both of us, there is an alternative. And it's okay for that path to be a path that we can choose to take together or not. But I just like kind of laughed to myself when I heard her dad say that.
I didn't like that moment either. So that's really interesting you pointed out because when I heard it, I was like, that literally trains people for the unconditional love concept. And I
Yeah.
believe unconditional love should only be remain or like reserved for parent child relationships. Everything else is conditional. Like if I go cheat on you and I go, start another family, that's conditional. You shouldn't want to still be with me no matter what. Like, what do you mean? So we should have lines that shouldn't be crossed in order for us to stay in this covenant. Like,
Well, that's that antiquated, like, two become one, and then you just put up and shut up.
Right.
Not doing that anymore anyway. So that dad needs to get with the program.
Yeah.
I saw this meme that said like we romanticize the marriage our grandparents had, right? Like that was like
Yes.
50, 60 years old.
Mhm.
But our grandmas were not given the option to leave, and like that world didn't exist for them.
Hmm.
That when lines were crossed or whatever, that they had that option to leave. So this 80, 50, 60-year marriage, like it doesn't exist in this world because we have these outs that they didn't have. So who's to say that that really would be a 50, 60-year marriage if they had the consciousness that we have,
Hmm.
where we want more for our lives, or that makes me feel unsafe and I can't be in this close connection with you because these behaviors just keep getting repeated. Like, she didn't have that option. It was
Yeah.
just grin and bear it, and this is what we do. So
Yeah.
so grateful to be living in this timeline of being a woman.
Yeah. Yeah, I look back at my parents' relationship and I've always said to myself since I was a kid, like, thank God my mom left. Like, I can't, it would be a disaster if she didn't. And like, I hope that kids of divorce can ultimately have that mentality to just be grateful that like the mother, whoever took a path that was healthier for everybody.
Yeah, I had so many people tell me one day they're going to understand, and it was all from like p- kids like you who are grown that were grateful their parents left, and or wish that their parents left. Because kids don't know better. Like, this is a child. Why would we? Of course, they're going to want their family to be together, right?
Yeah.
Like, we can't base our decisions off of what a child wants. Like, that's like letting them choose candy for dinner every day
Right.
and like putting them in charge. Like, it just,
Yeah.
the math doesn't math.
Yeah. So in the beginning, my ex would like ask my son where he wanted to sleep like, "Oh, do you want to stay at your mom's or my house tonight?" And I was like, "The kid doesn't get to call the shots. Like, if he wants if we ask him if he wanted ice cream or broccoli, he's going to choose ice cream. Like, the kids are not in charge. And we know what's best. So
Yeah. So what would you say is like the thing that kept pulling you through when the doubt would creep in, like if you could transport your brain back to when you were deciding to leave and it felt like he was he was a part of every cell in your body, right? That like untangling and the like recovering from the codependency with him and stuff like that. What were the tools you used to really untangle from him for good and like not feel selfish for leaving and wanting more for your life and that kind of stuff?
yeah, I think a couple things. I really held on to embracing the unknown, which is so hard. But I knew that if I stayed, like I knew that trajectory very clearly. Like I understood that if I stayed, what it would look like, right? Because like chances are things aren't going to change too dramatically. And just embracing that, like there was more of an expansive life to be had if I chose the unknown, which was there's a lot of fear with that. And then also just like with the guilt part and feeling like I made a selfish decision sometimes, like looking at my childhood and my family units and being like, we all turned out okay. And like my son's going to be okay. And having like faith in myself that as long as I'm a good mom, like I don't have to promise him a good marriage. I have to promise him like a good childhood and a good upbringing and that I'll be the best mom I can be. Not necessarily that I'm going to bring the best, marriage to the table for my child. I think those two things.
I love that. A healthy mom raises healthy kids.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. And
And we need the dads. I mean, it's nice to have a dad, obviously. We got to plug the dads in somewhere.
but I think that when we're holding on to, staying married and stuff like that, we thought we were trying to give our kids like the dream that we had growing up of needing a family be together. But at some point, I had to step back and realize I was giving him a blueprint for a marriage, both of them, a blueprint for a marriage that wasn't what I wanted for them. And kids do grow up and tend to recreate what's familiar and what was shown to them. And so what became my reason for staying became my reason for going, that I didn't want to model this anymore for them, the
Mhm.
extreme highs and the extreme lows. So I was like, I want my grandkids to live in a healthy home with like marriage that they could look up to. And if I kept showing this to my boys, they would probably not create the good marriages that I knew that they could if I left and forged a new way that just changed the whole generational pattern
Yeah.
uh, of unhealthy marriages.
Yeah.
So we're
You're
doing the
doing
work.
it.
Yeah.
It's a
Um,
journey, that's for sure.
yeah. Let's sign off with like, what is your favorite part of being divorced? Let's end on a high note.
I like truly feel that my ex is like the best co-parent I could possibly pick. And like I heard my mom say this all throughout my childhood that like it's so corny, but if she didn't meet my dad, she wouldn't have me. And I feel that obviously with my son. So I think just like trusting and having confidence that like things play out the way they're supposed to and just like cut yourself a damn break.
Mhm.
So
Trust the path.
yeah.
I love it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us,
Yeah,
Jessica.
thank you.
And
Thanks. It was so good meeting you.
yeah, and
You.
congrats on the business and everything. It's amazing. Be
Thank
so
you.
proud of yourself. All right. Bye, girl.
Bye.
Bye.